Hey, Mark, can you talk about the making of that photo? Do you remember when that was made?
It was made maybe 5 years ago. Time gets a little mushy after a while, but yeah, it's I believe it was a picture by the making of that Steve Air. Remember when it was made? Sorry about this,
Oh,
but
yeah, it's on Facebook.
it was made maybe 5 years ago. I gotta. Time gets a little mushy after a
That's
while,
fine.
but yeah, it's. Sorry about that.
No problem.
um, yeah, Steve Harrow was the the photographer, I believe, and he did a series of pictures, and where he had a very specific idea of what he wanted when he did his pictures, and most 90% of the time he did them by himself.
Mm.
Occasionally, he'd bring in other people to help him with lighting, um, but from the very beginning, when he first came in the class, he was an artist before he uh, was in the class. He studied at school. I think it wasn't visual arts. Where did he study? Well, I don't remember. But he had an art degree and he was a painter.
Mm.
And he still was painting when we were starting out. And when we started out, he'd actually project slides he'd done of his paintings and of uh, sandwich slides. So there were actually three layers in his paintings, two of the slides and uh, one of the person who was alive that he lit. But this one isn't like this. This one he did. I think it. If I looked at it while you were playing it and tried to refresh my memory of it. I think he had. It was mostly made just with one object and Victorine.
Mm-hmm.
Victorine being, you know what Victorine was, but the object maybe a platter. I think it might have been a silver platter, and then he used one thing we do is we with the color pictures we'll put filters over the flashlights. So that one had an orange filter, so it was that strong orange color. And he only did those when he would add a color like that. It would there'd be a specific reason he wanted it. I'm not going to say what was in his head for that one, but it makes for a powerful image. He did
Definitely.
that whole. He set Vicky up. He lit her without the filter, and then he lit the background by moving this platter, I believe, around while he was lighting it.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So the lights are turned out, the camera's on the tripod, it's stationed,
Right.
the exposure's open for minutes. Then the
Yep.
flashlights light objects, and you said that one was a color. It had a color gel on it, and whatever is lit exposes on the film on the image. And then if you move that same thing around with a light on it, you can get a streaking look. Or if you depending on what the object is, whether it's a shiny image like a platter, or whether it's an image like a tuft of cotton, which might make a more of a it looks like a cloud or something. You can create these other worlds right there with kind of these ordinary objects.
Yeah, we use very simple things often. Stephen, like we would have pieces of old ripped like moldy paper, and we want to save them because they look great and we could use them in the pictures. And people, if you looked at all our collection of stuff we used in the pictures, you'd think, what do we want to use all these for? In fact, another photographer, Stephen Dominguez,
Mm-hmm.
used to come in and collect things, especially to put in his photographs that were things that people would throw away. That was why he liked to use them. And he came in, well, I think in the first one we saw the picture of Ben with the balloon hat on. And
Yes.
yes, that was a picture with a big headdress
I,
on
ha-
the man sitting in profile.
I actually have it here. We can look at it right here. There it
Okay.
is. Yeah. That's one
Yeah.
of my
So,
favorites.
yeah, so that was actually that was a joint picture. It was primarily mine, I think, but it was my idea. But then people came in and added elements to it, and I think Steve added the balloon, the black balloon, and the I think that's black tape that was on the wall behind him, and then people helped light it. I have no idea who helped with the lighting. It might have been Steve, it might have been someone else. Um, uh,
Wow. So
yeah,
that's
but it was a collaborative picture. It was very collaborative.
I feel that's one of the classics. Have loved this image for
And the balloons
years.
were from Steve Dominguez. Yeah, Stephen Dominguez had brought those balloons in to make a different picture, which was a great picture also. He had a young boy he brought to the class to the model for him, and
Mm-hmm.
he had him with all these. He brought in these tons of balloons that he brought to make it, and I just liked the balloons so much that we made this picture after Steve was done with his,
That's great.
and it's of a great guy page.
Yeah, that's Ben Page, the man who I told the story about, who he remembered the photo a year after we had made it. That's him right there, and I have fond memories of him. Unfortunately, Ben passed away a few years ago.
Yeah, we've had a lot of we've lost a lot of people in the class. It's one of the side things of being blind is that you often have other health issues that go along with that. So it makes it difficult often at times. We've lost so many wonderful people who've been members of the collective over the years.
Yeah. Well, we want to celebrate them and celebrate all the current members uh, who are just keeping together with you, meeting with Zoom, and still before this quarantine, we're meeting every week and creating photos and images. You can find them once again at this Instagram for Seeing with Photography. I'm posting it up on the screen, and with at their website, Seeing with Photography, and the Flickr. I guess it's the time to mention it too. If you're interested in just kind of making a donation, we're splitting the donations between the Seeing with Photography Collective and myself, and you can make them here at the Venmo or PayPal for me if you feel inspired to do that as you watch live, or if you're watching it on a restream, or as it's living on Facebook after this is done. I think I'll play one last montage of photos, and these feature the voice of Connie McMillan telling her story about how she lost her sight. And then after that, we see many photos created by the great Victorine Floyd Flood, as we said, one of the longtime members, and who's listening and watching now. So I think that's good. And then after that, we'll both get on again and we'll say goodbye. But I think this is a great number to finish with. So here we go. This is Constance McMillan.
I'm a retired teacher. I had sight. I was born 20/20 vision. One day I was teaching. I missed a yearly checkup with the eyes. I just say, I'll catch it the next time or whatever. And I remember doing something. I didn't have a chalkboard in my room because I was teaching resource room, children with learning problems. And I covered my eye or squinted something, and I couldn't see. I said, oh my God. And then I did it again. I thought it was a fluke. I want you to know the next day I was at the doctor's office. No joke about it. It's what it was I was diagnosed with diabetic retinopathy. And I didn't know I had it. And I underwent a series of different operations. I have double vision. I legally have double vision. I can see you in one spot, and on some days, at sometimes different times, you're either up to the right or down to the left. So sometimes I have to decide which person or what object I'm really looking at. And it causes me to be dizzy. I'm dizzy. Dizzy dame anyway. It's different. I looked at photography when Hashim said, "Oh, you like photography," because Hashim noticed that I like doing different things. He said, "You'd like to go to photography." And I'm thinking photography is what most people think of as photography. You take the camera, you aim it, you shoot it, boom, you got a picture. No. You try to think about what it is that you want to do. Now, how are we going to do this? If you want to do something different, how are we going to do it? And you're using your brain, and it's good. It's a good piece of brain exercise.
cover it up. There we go. Sorry. Getting these out of here too. These are all the websites and things that I'm trying to hide from the screen, but check out the Scene Photography there. If you want to donate, feel free to donate these places. As I was looking at those images, I was just filled with such thanks that I'm able to set my music to them. And there's so much beauty in each one. And I want to tell you, Mark, and the members of Collective who are watching and listening, that I'm just so grateful for you. And I am such a deep admirer of your work and who you are as people. And thank you so much. It's such a blessing to know you and to be able to just collaborate in this way. It's just a joy seeing the work that you make. And on behalf of, I think, probably everyone who can see these images, we're just so blown away by them and so blown away by you. And thank you. I just want to say that for myself, and I think, I'm sure for anyone who sees these photos, they're just really, really something that you can't put in words about them. That's connects to people's imaginations, to people's hearts, to people's emotions. So thank you, everyone. Donald, who's watching, and Victorine, and Hashim, and Connie, and Charlie, and Phil, and Mildred, and Steve, and all the other people who I'm not remembering right now, but just thank you so much. I'm very thankful. Yeah.
We're very, very thankful to you for sharing putting your music, your beautiful music, to our images, and it's been a wonderful collaboration we've done over the years that has brought a lot of pleasure for us also. Nothing like having you play music and do the photographs at the same time.
It's a joy. It's a joy to do. So check out the Scene with a Photography Collective more and more. I'm planning on doing these live streams every week at 2:00 Eastern Time. And next week I'll be joined by my great friend Frederick Johnson, who's an amazing vocalist. And we are hoping to be speaking with someone who's the director at the International Arts and Minds Lab at the Brain Science Institute at Johns Hopkins University. I had to write that down because that's a mouthful. But hopefully we'll have her on, and we'll be talking about music and the mind and the brain and what else is happening at Johns Hopkins in regards to what the scientists are talking about with one another about the coronavirus. So stay tuned for next time, the same place. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, the Seeing with Photography Collective. And we'll see you next time. Take care.